get in one position up there. And you let me know when we're good to go.
You'll never break me down. You'll never break me down. Cause I can take it. You'll never break me down. Cause baby, I can take it.
I'll just. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and that is only for the people who are tuning in on the live stream. My name is David, it's up there somewhere. Welcome to 1 Trillion Agents Day 2 here at ETHDenver. Now, before we get into it, I have actually had a lot of questions about this little character here, and in case you don't divulge in as much psychedelics as I do, I'm going to explain the concept to you. So this is Sam. And he's named Sam for no particular reason. He is a Shoggoth, and he represents the amalgamation of centralized AI that is being built behind closed doors in San Francisco et al. And it is up to us and the brilliant builders in this room and beyond to put the fight up against it and tame that very Shoggoth. And one of those builders is with us here right now. He's going to join us on stage. He is the only Frenchman I like. His name is Pierre. So please give a big round of applause for Pierre.
Test, yeah. Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming today. So I'm Pierre, I work with Near AI as a software engineer, and today I want to quickly show you how to build stuff on TEs, especially agents. So I'm curious how many of you are builders and have ever worked. Okay. And how many of you have actually used some TE stuff before? Okay. So yeah, first of all, I'm just gonna quickly go through where we come from and where we are going, and then I'm gonna do some demoing and more like live coding, the funnier part. So AI systems right now are kind of failing us. So all the answers that you get back from these centralized parties are you don't really know how it's generated. It's they have a lot of ads embedded into them, so they have a lot of biases, and then whatever you put into their centralized companies, you don't actually know what they're doing with your data. So it's like complete black boxes. And all this data that you share with them is a big security risk, because like all this data is like very important, and it contains a lot of like person-sensitive data, and it's just waiting to be leaked, because hackers are working days and night to try to get hands on this data and sell it to the highest bidder. But yeah, so another thing is like open source AI has been failing. So one of the examples is Stability AI. They were unable to pay for their GPU bill this last year, and it's because everything AI costs is like super expensive, and you have to find a good business model that works. And all these problems with the centralized parties created like huge trust issues, and so a lot of countries restricted access to this centralized to these AI systems. And as we know now, like all these AI systems are like very good for GDP growth, and so restricting individuals or companies to access these services is like very bad. And yeah, so I would just want to say why it matters for all of us. So right now we are sharing stuff with these companies and like centralized parties, that are very sensitive to us. It could be like, I don't know, some therapy session that you have with your AI agent or stuff like this, and you don't want these conversations to end up with people that you don't actually know. So you put a lot of trust on them, and it's not very sustainable for the long term. And so to fix this, we are going towards a user-owned AI approach. And so basically the idea is that you give access to anyone to this AI platform, and you can actually verify and audit everything that's happening there. And so then you don't have to put trust on these centralized parties. You can actually like do the research on your own, or even the community can actually check what's happening. And so yeah, all this gives you access to your, you get back the control over your data. And if you decide to, let's say, share some data, you get rewarded. If you share with some parties in the ecosystem, you get rewarded for sharing this data. And then like other things that you can do as a community, you can like build a model. And then whenever somebody is using this model, you get rewarded for it. It's not like you just lose your data. And so yeah, if you lose your data right now to OpenAI and stuff like this, you don't get anything out of it. But so we are really going towards like an AI that is optimized for user well-being and economic success for everyone. I'm just going to quickly go through the stack that we have. So first of all, we have the agent cloud. So basically the place where you come and host any of your AI agents. So it could be near AI agents, or it could be like ELIZA agents, LangChain agents, whatever. And all these agents then like get access to a whole marketplace. You can actually interact with different agents. And so whenever your agent is being used by other people in the ecosystem, you get revenue out of it, because you can say, okay, my agent requires you to pay $1 USDC for the service I'm offering. And then, so that's how you generate revenue. To create these agents, we are offering this Near AI Agent SDK, which basically the idea is that you can write in Python or TypeScript any kind of agents. And it could be like a very complex agent to a very simple one. We're going to build a simple one afterwards. But yeah, so on top of this, we use the Near Protocol blockchain to do all these microtransactions. So whenever you transact between two agents that requires payment and stuff like this, this is all happening on Near. We have a bunch of payment channels and stuff like this. And on top of it, we also offer chain abstraction, which is the idea that you can transact on any blockchain. And so then like you can do stuff on Solana, on Bitcoin from your AI agents. And so yeah, so on one side we have agenting payment, so it's what I mentioned. Agent discovery, so here we have like already 400 like agents. So you have to have a discovery layer because and the assistant, so basically it's the idea that you speak to one particular agent, and then so this assistant is not able to do everything, so you need to discover agents that are experts in specific fields, and then it's gonna ask these sub-agents, please do this for me. I'm attaching $1 USDC for the service. So this is the idea. And then you have user data and shared memory. So this is where you want to really have a personalized assistant that knows you, and you can actually like trust it because you verify the whole stack and you know it's secure. And we have agent hosting, so it's basically where you send your agent. And so all this runs inside a trusted execution environments. So trusted execution environments is basically a piece of hardware that allows you to, like, you don't have to trust the hosting provider that they're not gonna access your data. Like there is no way for them to actually access it, and you can verify that they're running the appropriate software that you expect them to be running. So we have this for CPU based, so it's typically like AI agents in our case, and also for GPUs. So we use GPUs, so GPU TEs for any kind of model training, model fine tuning, and model inference. And so all this we run them on so-called CVM, so confidential virtual machines. So it's just an abstraction on top of TEs, just a way for us to run anything inside these TEs. So for our use case, what does this TE magic enables us to do? So one very cool thing is fully encrypted models. So basically you can train your model fully inside a TE, so you almost have no overhead. So our friends at Fala did a study, and we like a research, and we see that the performance impact when you use these TEs is from 8% to down to 1% for these bigger models, because they spend more time computing. So the downside of encrypting everything is not that big. And then you have a monetized confidential inference. So basically, if you offer access to your hardware to do any kind of computation and computation for completions on this from these LLMs. You get rewarded as a service provider. And then you have verifiable agents, so you can, as a user, you can check that the agents being run in this TE is actually what you expect it to be, what the version that you expect to be running. And so you can really fully verify everything, so you don't have to trust anymore, you can actually verify. So the demo I'm gonna go through is, first I'm gonna demonstrate a bit of private inference, so it's just the idea that you can discuss with one of these LLMs in a fully private way, so nobody can see what really happened. So for this, we use a VLLM. And so we are working with Scala Network on this, and we are working on this private ML SDK, which is what I'm going to be demoing today. And on the other side, we're going to be doing a private engine. So we're going to create an agent, host it inside TE, and then do some very simple completions with it, just to show you how it works. So now comes the fun part. So I hope it's going to work. Let's see. So first of all, on the private inference side of things, for example, here inside the TE, we have Llama 3.1. I hope you can read. We have Llama 3.1 8B running, and we are just going to ask for a simple completion. Does it like near protocol? And yeah. So we have, this specific TE is not running with HTTPS, so we don't have the whole verification set up. It's just, so this is a developer preview. The other things that we have in TEs are actually fully with TLS and HTTPS, so you can actually, nobody has access to what you are really saying to these LLMs. But in that case, since it's only HTTP, anybody can actually spoof on the network and see what the question and what the answer back from the LLM is. But this is like minor issue. It's going to be fixed anytime soon. So I'm just going to ask for start this completion. So here it is. Okay, so we saw that we send the request to this CVM on the port 8000 for chat completions, and then it answered that it loves near protocol. So yeah, and then you can actually get the quotes. So the quotes in this CVMs is basically what, because you have to have a way to check that it's running the software that we expect it to be running. And so how to do this, you basically get a quote out of it. And so for this server, this one, so we expose attestation/report endpoint. And when you call this, basically it's gonna get some measurements from both the CPU and the GPU running inside the TE. And so here, for example, you have the Intel quote, which is a bunch of random stuff. It's like X. And then we have a verification process that actually takes this and checks that it matches the expected values. So for example, for the Intel quotes, we're gonna go a little bit deeper afterwards, but you can actually decompose all this and check that the version that is being run is the appropriate one. And then we have the exact same for the NVIDIA side of things, because you have to actually check both to make sure it's secure. So this is it for the private inference part of things. So if you want to give it a try already, you can. We only have a 3.1 8B running right now on the machine. For storage reason, I wasn't able to run a bigger one. But it's totally capable of running these way bigger models. So now we're gonna create like a near AI agent. So to do this, we have this very convenient CLI. So you do near AI agent create. It's gonna ask for a name of the agent. So you ETHDenver demo, for example. Description. Instructions. So it's just gonna be like a. This is perfect. Helpful humorous assistant. Oh my God. So now we are just creating it, and we can actually go and check how it looks like once you created an agent. So you can go and update it and change and do way more advanced agents. So if I have time, I will show you like more advanced agents and how they actually work and can call like vector stores and stuff like this. But here we can see the the instructions we told the agent to be doing. And so it looks correct. I'm not gonna do something more advanced for now, but then we're just gonna upload it. So we're gonna upload this version. So this is being sent to the CDM again, so to this TE. Oh yeah, I have this. It's 7 megabytes. It's not the correct size. Just a sec. Because of my Pi. Okay, so I'm uploading it again. Perfect. So now it's uploaded. So here we can see it's sent again to this cvm.near.ai. So here we are using TLS. That's why you see all these warnings, because the certificate is generated inside the TE and it's not like signed by a counterparty. So usually you should not trust these certificates. But here in our case, since we do some process, I hope I will have time to show you. But basically, when you will get the quote from the TE, we put the public key of the SSL certificate inside some hash, and then on the client side, you recalculate this hash, and if it matches, you know that the public key that you are discussing with on the HTTPS side of things, you know it's it's actually secure and you're speaking to the correct server. So now we have this agent uploaded inside our TE, and now we're gonna want to discuss with it. So just one very simple, how are you? Very simple completion. So this goes to this API running inside the CVM, and then this is gonna ask the VLLM instance that we saw before. It is also a CVM inside the TE. So all of them, so they don't trust each one of them. So all of them are doing like these TE attestations every time, and yeah, so that's how they ensure that it's actually everything is secure and private, and only you can see the result. So here we got back the answer. We saw he's taking into account ETHDenver. It was in the instructions, so it's working. So now I'm just gonna show you more how it works. So because here we are using the CLI, so everything is hidden. But so here we get the quote from the CVM, which is the hub, we call it. So it's basically the big API that we use to do all these AI agents interactions and agent hosting and everything. So we get the code, we do the attestation, it checks that it matches the correct version of the software. So in our case, for example, you noted before, but for our version of the hub, you expect to get from the, I need to run it before. So if we run this Python script, so here we have way more logs. So here we see the quote again, that is huge. And here we have the verification results. So this is from the attestation. So it's actually checking that the T is correct. So you should see the correct hash for this version of the hub that you audited before, that you checked. It's running, it's behaving the way that you expect it to behave. And so you know that this hash is correct. Why is it not? Okay, so here we can see it got the hash back, so you know it's the version of the hub that you actually checked before, and you know it's genuine and not like selling your data to anyone else or stuff like this. And then so we have the API is fully compatible with OpenAI, so you can create a thread, then you add a message to the thread, and then basically you run an agent on the given thread. So in this example, I'm running this What Beats Rock. So it's just a game. It's like a rock, paper, scissors, but more advanced with LLMs. So basically you are fighting with the LLM to know what can first is to beat the rock. And then, so in this example, for example, I put it lava. So here I say lava. And then the LLM is going to answer back. I hope it's readable. You want lava melts rock, and then it's going to ask you like what beats lava. So you have to find the next material that's going to beat lava. And so then you can just go on with the thread and just play with this game. It's a little useless game just for fun. So we start the run, and then we just wait for the completion. So we are checking that the run is finished, and once it's finished, like it's cool. We just print the response back from the agent. So now, with the little time I have, I'm just gonna show you more the kind of agents that we have. So this is one I did in Bangkok for Redacted. Basically, it was the idea of you create an agent with the vector store contains all of Ilya's tweets, and basically you ask Ilya's vector store, you ask him for financial advice, not financial advice, and you hope that it gives you the next big meme coin to buy. And so here I run it before. So what community coin? Because if you ask for meme coin, it's never going to tell you anything. It's going to say, "Oh, I'm not giving financial advice." But like here, for example, it would speak about Black Dragon, Long, all these different meme coins on here. And so how we do this? So here it's hard-coded just for demoing purposes. We hard-code the vector store ID. And then on the agent side, you can just do on. So env is just from the SD. Oh, sorry. Better. So the env, so env is just from our SDK. So we offer this query vector store function. You put the vector store ID and then the query from the user, and then it's just gonna like find back all the most relevant documents. So tweets in that case, tweets from Ilya that are good that's mostly speaking about meme coins. So this is one. Another one. So this is what beats rock from Vadim. I already showed you it. This is Soundstage. So this is the one. It's one of the most advanced agents that we have. So all these agents, you can call it from the assistant. So for example, for Soundstage, if you say I want to buy, so it's an agent specialized in buying headphones. So if you tell him I want to buy like some green headphone to your assistant, he's gonna go to the discovery layer and find an agent that is capable of doing this for you. So in that case, for the demo, I'm just directly on the Soundstage agent. But so we can go here and ask him, I want to buy cheap headphones, for example. Then we just hope that the completion is going to be fast. Don't have much time. But so then how it works, I have a diagram. So let me see this. So we have the chat.here.ai UI that you see right now. And then this discusses with the assistant. So in that case, I went directly to the Soundstage agent. So between these two, you have the discovery layer that basically then communicates between one another. And then this agent is communicating to the Soundstage MCP server. So it's just an API that is available to buy stuff from Amazon. So the Soundstage agent gets the intent that you want to do. So here in that case, it's to buy like some headphones, some cheap headphones. And then it's going to discuss with this API. So it's another API because it contains some private API keys, and you don't really want to share it with anyone. And so then this just discusses with Amazon, and then you can do all the payments and stuff from there. So it's still okay. So here it found back some headphones from Amazon, and you can see the price, all these things. So let's say we want to buy this super cheap one. I don't have any USDC on this account, so we won't be able to actually finish the whole process. But it's quite slow, the completion, so this is something that we need to improve on. But yeah, so once you want to buy it, then it's gonna ask you for the shipping info, and then you fill all this, and you're gonna receive your headphones at some point in the next few days. And so yeah, that's everything I have. Actually, I have something else. So Caleb from the team shipped this yesterday. It was asked quite a lot. So basically, it allows you to embed the chat box anywhere on any website. So if you want to have like just an assistant embedded into your web page, you can just like use this iframe, for example, like this, and then you specify the agent that you want to be discussing with. And so it could be an agent that's linked to your like a vector store of all your documentation about your project or stuff like this. And then this agent is going to be able to answer like any kind of questions for your project. And so yeah, I have. So this is one one example here. So here you see it's an iframe inside some documentation. So inside the Near AI documentations, and then you can ask whatever question. It has as vector store, it has all the documentation that we have on Near AI. And so you can ask whatever question. So that was it. Thank you so much for listening. And I don't know if I have time for questions. Yeah?
So, for the AI models, how do you see AI?
Hi guys. I want to say is many other applications besides large language models should be also considered into a TE protected environment. So as near, are you going to plan to provide a service for like text to image, text to video, 3D and etc. Or just TTS, etc. things.
Yeah, so right now so on the hub, so the non-TE side of things, because we have this whole product running outside of TEs also. So we have text to image already, but not in TEs. Like from our TE solution, you cannot create images right now. We did not work on it still.
Okay, and the next question is about what's your opinion upon do you know the sandbox of Phyla or the E2B, both in the Web3 and Web2? Have you ever heard of that? Use a sandbox to wrap the code to give trustful execution for both users. Do you have ever heard of that? E2B.
No.
Okay, so I can have you in-depth discussion.
Chat. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Really quick.
How can we do with a testnet?
Sorry?
The Near AI login, but with a testnet?
Yeah, it's only with mainnet right now that you can log in. But it's we are not sent. You don't need any funds. It can be a throwaway account. You can log in without any funds on the account. It doesn't require you to have.
I just created a new account which has nothing, and I'm not able to log in because it says throws an error.
Normally you should be. Is it a named account? Or
No.
Anyway,
Okay.
it's okay. It's not a named account. Yeah, that's why. Yeah. But with Meteor Wallet, you can create named accounts for free, and it should work.
Telegram? I'll send you a link there.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah. Dimo. I have to go?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
It was good though. Woo! All right, brilliant. Look, Pierre is right there if you want to talk to him. Catch him now. I'm going to whiz this off stage, and we're going to give a big round of applause to Cameron Dennis and his wonderful panel guests. So, round of applause, please.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Hello. Okay.
Test. All right, great. You guys can hear us? Say something?
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
All right, everybody. How's it going? So my name is Cameron Dennis. I've been building a Near for about 4 years, building with Near AI for the last about 8 months to a year or so. It's been an amorphic organization. But I'm here with Felix and Marvin. We're going to be talking about the private ML SDK and what it means for verifiable privacy in the world of AI. So without further ado, we'd love for you to introduce yourselves. Felix, you want to go first?
I think you go first.
Okay, cool. Marvin, you can go first.
Okay. Thanks for having me. My name is Marvin. I'm the co-founder of Phyla Network. I'm running a non-technology role, co-CEO, and we've been working in the space for 5 years on TEE. And basically, in the beginning, like everybody in crypto space hate TEE. It's not purely based on cryptographic solutions, but like we believe there's some big potential in it, and it can scale. To help the Web3 standard eat the Web2 software. So that's basically our what we believe in. So yeah, we've been working in the space for a while, and it's super excited to see how AI jump into space right now, and TE or verifiability can play a part of it. Yeah.
Cool. Well, just before we move on, tell us a little bit more about Fala. Like, what is Fala?
Yeah, Fala in reality, it is an abstraction layer of how TE works in a Web 2 world. So first of all, TE is not hardware, right? Like TE is a systematic work based on how security hardware works. And each chip manufacturer have their own TE system, such as Intel SGS, Intel TDX, AMD SEV. Apple have its own TE standard. And yeah, so when you unlock your face in your phone, you are using TE, right? When you open up Binance with pass keys, you are using TEs. So it's kind of already been widely used, but the trust assumption of this Web 2 TE doesn't fit with how Web 3, use cases works in Web 3 scenario, especially like in DeFi, AI, we consumer don't trust the developer don't trust the cloud provider, so we only trust blockchain, right, and ZKP. So how to build a systematic work based on that, it requires some software level of abstraction. So Fala basically do only two jobs: to abstract these Web 2 TE standards together and provide a software solution that fit with Web 3 requirements. And another job is that we provide security hardware that fit with these solutions. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get more into the details in a bit, but Felix, quick introduction of yourself and a little bit about Xtrace.
Hi everyone, I'm Felix. I'm the CEO and founder of Xtrace. And we are a pretty new company, basically started in June. And what we're building is an encrypted context layer and data and memory for AI agents. So what I mean by that is that every user can upload their data onto our system. And then as a data protocol, we can guarantee that we have no control of your data, so that all the data will be safe and then still searchable by AI agents. So what I mean by that is usually the guarantee for a database holder is encrypted at rest and at transit. And then Xtrace gives one further guarantee, which is encrypted in use. So AI agent can still send out encrypted query to Xtrace's encrypted database and get the data they want. So this pairs perfectly well with TE because we can essentially allow agents or large language model running in TEs to have data access to external databases. And on top of that, we can also be the persistent storage, which is called memory for AI agents running inside, which allows this to be on persistent storage. It makes the agent running inside stateful. Yeah.
Yeah, just for summarize quickly, there's
Yes.
a lot of words. So in short, Xtrace is really providing the personalization like railway. So if you're using an agent and you want to say, hey, agent, go buy me a cup of coffee, that agent doesn't understand like whether you want whole bean coffee or ground coffee or hot coffee or cold coffee. Like it needs to understand your preferences. So with Xtrace, you're able to use Xtrace to personalize your agent while ensuring privacy, which is really a prerequisite to this like user-owned AI thing that we're all talking about. So thank you. And moving back to Marvin. So your whole mission is to make trustless compute affordable with sort of through the private MLSK and also everything else that you're building with Fala. And I'm curious, like, how you see this kind of adoption by developers. Like, do people really care about privacy and verifiability right now?
That's a great question. So, like whenever I'm pitching, I'm not saying, hey, use TE instead of ZK, using TE instead of smart contract on Ethereum. Our method is, if you can run something on Ethereum, do it. If you can run an agent on Near, do it. Like TE is the technology that as a better solution than Amazon Cloud, right? Like it's kind of in the middleware between how Web 2 and Web 3 works. So we are a believer of chain maxing, and we are a believer of cryptographic solutions will merge together eventually. We already see the trend, how this trending works. For example, Fala's TE attestation is already using ZKP to generate the proofers, so that you can use the ZK proof to know, as a attestation for how the TE works. So our method is like the Web3 adoption will happen on many technologies, working together instead of single tech. So
you said this word attestation.
Yeah,
it's a very important thing that everyone should understand.
Yeah,
can you quickly explain what TE attestations are?
Okay,
and like where they live?
Yeah. So security is based on assumptions, right? Like, for example, like how TE work is, just imagine there's a black box in a CPU or GPU in these chips, and the programs, the data running inside this, we call them enclave, the black box. Running inside the enclave actually is running in secret, but by the attestation system, you can know exactly how this program running as it should be. So how to know it? First, we need to know like how this program looks like. So you probably need to open source to make sure that the others can verify it. And then you put the open source software inside this security chip enclave and execute it with the attestation, which is provided by the GPU manufacturer, TE systems. You can know, okay, this computation result is actually running with a specific hardware environment with a specific software version, so that okay, with the attestation proof, how this program is running as it will. So that's the very basic, very rough, abstract description of how TE works. But in reality, it's more complex. For example, right? It's based on a security assumption for the hardware. So what if you don't trust in the hardware, right? Like
These things have been hacked.
Yeah,
TEs
it can
have-
be hacked.
yeah.
It can be hacked.
Yeah.
So you should know like these are security assumptions before you use it. And another thing is there's for example, like with the attestation, it's not as simple as ZKP with single prover. You can attest the entire, Merkle tree or the entire hash, history behind it. With TE attestation, it can separate the verifiabilities. So, for example, some proof actually means that okay, the environment setup is correct. Some proofs means like the Docker, runs at will. So, et cetera, et cetera. It can be separated into very different layers. Yeah.
So now we have a general idea of how TEs work and what they are, but Felix is a bit more on the RAG pipeline.
Yes.
So can you quickly explain what RAG is, what it stands for, and exactly what XRAG is, the sort of new primitive that Xtrace introduced?
I think to me, like AI agent is composed of basically three components, right? Like the large language model, the second is a RAG and dynamic memory, and the third one is a tool call ability. And then
what is it? Ability?
Tool call.
Tool call.
Like calling APIs to execute certain functions. And then what RAG is basically allowing, you can think about when you're training a large language model, it's kind of like a training in school, and when you're doing the exam, the RAG is like an open book. So a way for AI agent to reference outside data that is not outside of the training data. That can be like real-time data or like proprietary data, private data, or all of that. And then what we're trying to do is that we're making sure that all the data stored inside our vector store are all encrypted, and there's still available to be semantic search on. So what semantic search means is that the agent can send out a query and then find the most relevant data in the whole vector store. And we're making the whole process encrypted, which means that the query is encrypted, the data is encrypted, nothing is leaked in the protocol, and then still the agent can find the response they need.
It's critical, like super important.
Yeah.
How do you anticipate this actually getting out to the masses? Like, do you have to natively integrate with Xtrace every single time? Can these agent frameworks sort of add Xtrace by default? Can this be added to the private ML SDK so everyone that uses the private ML SDK benefits from private RAG or encrypted memory?
Yes, or like design is really modular, so we allow like it's chain agnostic and also agent framework agnostic. As long as you have data that you want to work with certain like agent framework, then you can use our system and then make all the data you want to interactive encrypted. So we really see that working with all the agent framework will become like this distribution channel. And then our ultimate vision is allowing like one user to upload all their personal data into our data layer, and then they can choose the data access control to different agents they're working in. For instance, they can only open their e-commerce like habits to the e-commerce agent, and then the text data to the text agent only, so that they have one unified layer that has like shared memory and like kind of gather all the fragmented memory and still work with all the different AI agent, AI apps they want to work with. Yeah.
So I'll say, I'm working closely with these guys because honestly, I want a solution, which is I want to be able to have a single window that have an agent watch my screen at all times, verify that none of this data is being leaked to some third-party cloud, and it suggests questions that I can ask on calls, and like suggest things that I should do with my browser. And so this is what I think that we are all sort of building towards, like this like private ML. But I was recently at an AI conference where everybody didn't think private ML was ever possible. But now we see things like NVIDIA coming out, all new H100s, H200s will have this TE support. And so this demand is not coming from crypto land. It's coming from like the large compute providers, like NVIDIA, Intel.
Yeah.
Like, how do you sort of see this sort of playing out long term?
I think a very important reason is like actually we know the information about private ML in not know the concept of this technology, but more like how the business already been working for a while through the last I think IC3 conference in San Francisco. Like it's more like an academic one, and actually the researchers from NVIDIA, Intel, OpenAI, all of these guys are there. All of them know that private ML is already working, and but unfortunately, it's more targeting on the enterprise level of users. The only company who actually doing a good job using TE for a private AI is Apple. All of the Apple intelligence cloud service going through the TE cloud powered by Apple M3 security chips. So like exactly the chips running inside these Macs. So, but I'm thinking like now it's more targeting on the enterprises, but it's going to be consumer facing. Like I'm not sure how many of you guys already used OpenAI operator. It's terrified.
Yeah,
you have to like kind of like type in your login and input all of the password in the cloud browser, so that these agent can operate jobs for you in that cloud browser. And it is having massive adoption to their consumers. I'm saying I don't trust it.
No.
Yeah.
I think I saw in Microsoft like the new. I think it's taking screenshots of your window pretty much like every X amount of seconds. Yeah, it's horrifying. I don't want that. So Felix, for encrypted memory, Xtrace, what are the industries that you're really looking to kind of go to market with?
Yeah, I think currently we're just observing like a burst of like agent framework building, like a lot of agent launchpad, and everyone's trying to kind of work on the agentic side. And then we're really looking into two sectors. So one is like just an encrypted knowledge base, like how RAG works. The second part is on encrypted memory, because this memory that is generated by large language models through like all this test time scaling and a lot of reinforcement learning is really valuable. And I believe that this new memory, encrypted memory, will unlock collective intelligence between AI agents, so that each AI agent can co-own the data that they generated or own it by themselves. And I think this new paradigm is like where the new data opportunities unlocked. So we can kind of make a multi-agent collaboration really happening while all of them have their own data. Because currently what I'm seeing is that a lot of multi-agent collaboration is just like the same ChatGPT or whatever large language model with different prompts. I think what really makes it different for multi-agent collaboration is the data they have access to, the proprietary data, the past experience they have. And that will really make a difference when different agents are working together. Yeah.
I am super bullish on this approach. Like, I think privacy is just like a basic feature, but like very few people or enterprises will pay for privacy. That's the reality. But based on this fundamental of privacy, you can build a very good ideas. For example, in a private RAG scenario, I would say I'm super bullish on the shareable memories, because my pain point is I'm using Anthropic, I'm using OpenAI, and I have to upload everything about TE and follow again with a lot of my tokens. I believe many consumers feel the same too. But with if there's a like personalized memory database that I can upload my knowledge for once, and it can be shared and used to many different agent platforms, that would be A, super convenient, B, save a lot of computing resources.
I'm kind of curious, like, I think one of the biggest issues that we're all going to face in this like privacy verifiability world is actually getting the real world to trust the code, trust cryptography.
Yeah.
How do you see us actually bridging that gap? You think it needs to come from trusted organizations like Apple, or can it come from applied cryptography labs or companies?
That's a very good question. It's a tricky one. Like, for example, what's happening on Safe right now? is kind of a good sample. I'm not saying I think Safe have one of the best security teams in the world in Web3, but like the Babbitt hack vulnerabilities is not because of the contract, right? The contract is verifiable, so everybody using it for millions of times, so it's safe. But for the how the front end and the server end works, they still need to use some dynamic backend to for the user experience on the front end. And of course, there's tons of alternative front end for safe, but still North Korea in, right? Like why? Because as long as you are using server, there could be vulnerabilities. How to save that? I would say I'm not saying TE can save the issue. TE can't solve this.
Would it be like a
problem.
standard? Does it have to come from a company? Does it have to come from a government? Like what will get people to trust verifiability in cryptography?
Yeah. I mean, but I'm just trying to address that. If you put how the back end of Safe works and how the front end works, open source it, right? So that everybody can reproduce it by yourself. Providing centralized service is okay, but for example, running inside TE, at least the security, the white hats can always tracking the attestations of these backend logs to see if there's anything weird happening, to see if the hacker changed the front end and back end code, without your knowledge. Like the more exposure of transparency logs from AI and back end or front end, the better.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
That makes sense.
For me, my security assumption kind of based on like the HTTPS protocol, like using similar like encryption method and AES encryption. So kind of like if you want to say I'm unsafe, you have to first break HTTPS or AES. So that's kind of how we address a cryptography primitive. Yeah.
So some sort of standardized protocol
Yes.
that really, if you ask
Somebody
the Joe Schmo off the street, hey, what's HTTPS? They're not gonna know or
But
care.
they kind of trust HTTPS as a default, right? Compared to the previous times. I think Google kind of forced it to happen. Yeah, because they have the monopoly of like web search, so they just kind of derank everyone who doesn't have the TLS protocol enabled. So so I think there's some way to make it work.
I mean, this was the last question. It's a little bit far out, but assuming all of this technology ends up getting really proven out and it works, how long do you think it would actually take to get in the hands of everyday people?
Well, I would say it's not a technology question because it's already in there. Like based on our benchmark very early in last year, using TE GPUs like H100, 200, you only have 5% of trade-off to have V level, inference for basically any model. So it's already in there.
It's there.
And for AI agents, it's obviously it's already working very well in TEs. So I would say, but for training is I would say this year is a beginning because trustless or verifiable training is haven't reached like a full kind of status yet. So
We
it's
need
only a matter of time.
We need the hardware.
Yeah.
Like it needs to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is happening.
Yeah, and what happened in the market actually helped to pushing that. A lot of like US companies and US citizens don't like, for example, DeepSeek, right? Like we love DeepSeek as an open source software, but you don't trust the inference service from China. So how to solve that? Like we need some trustless middleware to operate these open source models, and you can see how they collect your data or not collecting your data. So I think it's the market is pushing it. Yeah.
Just to kind of repeat the question, assuming all this works perfectly today, what does the world look like in about 5 years?
Yeah, it really depends on like how good the model is and how good the vertical agents are. So I think currently, the agent still hasn't lived up to its hype yet, but I see a lot of good transformative like breakthrough every week. I'm doing like this nearly week with Cameron about like all the AI research and everything. So I can see it happening, but I think it just takes like that breakthrough point, inflection point. And then when there's mass adoption, then we can see that people actually need to upload all their data to make sure like the agent can get the best out of all this proprietary or personalized data. Yeah.
Thanks. Well, guys, I mean, that's about it. We'll be around if you have any more questions. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. We need to take the.
Sorry. Next is, who is it? Matthew Wang. Matthew Wang. Get that if you are hungry, peckish, actually there is no food there, but in a couple of minutes there will be better food there, I think. And there's coffee, there's water, there's juice, there's Sprite, if you want to drink that poison. Otherwise, please give a big round of applause for Mr. Matthew Wang to talk about decentralized compute.
Hey everyone, my name is Matthew. Excited to be here. I'm one of the co-founders of Open Gradients. And today I'm here to talk about how to make intelligent adaptive agents in real time. A little bit about myself before I get started. I spent most of my professional career as a research engineer at a quant fund called 2 Sigma in New York. When I was in school, I'd also done stints of HCI as well as ML research, notably in applying unsupervised learning methods in market regime detection and using that for portfolio optimization. And I will give everyone a quick rundown of Open Gradient shortly, but excited to first talk about what the road to 1 trillion advanced agents kind of looks like in my view. So I kind of think about agent development in a couple different stages. Stage 1, you have agents that can synthesize and reason about with data, which you can already see with all these Twitter agents popping up, tweeting interestingly provocative things. Secondly, you have stage 2, which is agents are able to complete tasks on the behalf of their human overlords, such as placing simple transactions, such as buying a simple token. And you kind of already see a lot of AI agents, notably on the Near chain, kind of able to do this and serve as assistants. And here I've also attached a little screenshot of one of the tweets that Ilya had put out about how a lot of these agents are kind of helping humans with mundane tasks like routing trades and routing orders. And lastly, the kind of final stage for AI agent development, in my opinion, is when AI agents are able to surpass clearly human abilities in handling complex tasks. And this might look like, AI agents that are able to run fully autonomous companies, AI agents that are able to run and participate in DAOs, as well as AI agents that can manage portfolios and be able to, trade effectively and generate profit consistently. But if you look at the state of, frontier models, LLMs, and AI agents today, a lot of them are extremely intelligent and, especially given the previous panel, can access things such as tool calls and RAG in order to make it smarter. But when you ask it, hey, what is the price forecast for SUI? What, asset should I buy to minimize my risk-adjusted return? So to maximize my risk-adjusted returns, things like that. The LLMs or AI agents aren't able to give you a very textured or detailed response. And in our view, we kind of want to build AI agents that are able to address those tasks and give you textured responses and execute on them effectively. And from my view, there are essentially 3 different kind of bottlenecks and technical hurdles that we need to overcome in order to advance agents from stage 2 to stage 3. Firstly, data pipelines. You need to give AI agents the ability to reason about with more complex and a wider variety of different data sources. As an example, if you have a portfolio manager agent, that agent might want to be able to pull Twitter data in order to analyze the sentiment around certain crypto assets on crypto Twitter. Secondly, computational workflows, allowing AI agents to, venture outside the world of using a large language model and run a computational workflow that might involve, as an example, a mean variance portfolio optimization workflow that gives the AI agent the ability to optimize its portfolio holdings or run a simple risk analysis on various assets, things like that, allowing it to actually perform detailed analysis and become smarter with domain-specific intelligence. And lastly is agent interoperability. So I'm extremely personally bullish on the ability to allow agents to compose with one another in order to complete extremely complex and abstract goals. As an example, a portfolio manager agent might leverage an execution agent in order to find the best venue to trade to minimize market impact or to minimize the cost and fees that they would have to pay in order to cross the spread, and might use a marketing agent to pump tokens that it might hold in its portfolio, things of the sort. And I think these are all extremely exciting kind of primitives that we're building at Open Gradient as well, which I'll get to shortly. And this is just a quick screenshot of a little piece of writing that we had put out about how the three kind of key pieces that I just spoke about will allow agents to become more intelligent with access to computational workflows, data pipelines, and access to other agents, and allowing us to compose different agents together to create powerful computational applications. But what's next? So briefly on what Open Gradient is, we're building a full stack infrastructure platform that allows developers to very freely be able to build AI or ML applications on chain in a way that is both verifiable and extremely seamless. We want to allow developers to integrate, quite simply, any model into any application on any chain. We have an infrastructure layer that has various nodes that handle compute-heavy tasks, including inference, including running secure data pipelines. We have our blockchain network, which allows developers to build using these data pipelines, using different models directly in their Solidity smart contracts. And we also have cross-chain messaging that allows these computational workflows to service apps or agents or protocols on any other chain. We have a model hub that is live at hub.opengradient.ai that you can check out with a couple hundred models. Many of them are Web3 specific. We host sentience, large language models. So this is Dobby. We host Flux, small language models. We have many, DeFi quantitative ML models that do spot forecasting, volatility forecasting, risk analysis, and more. And this is all live. You can go check out and play around with those models. And we have many active builders building with these models. And lastly, we have Pythonic SDK that allows developers to leverage our tech and interact with all of these models and workflows without having to deal with the complexities of blockchains for smart contracts. And we also partner very closely with clients in order to get their agents, protocols, and applications off the ground by partnering with them, and a lot of the time building models and agentic workflows alongside these clients. And I'll get to a couple interesting use cases later. A quick overview on how we make this magic happen. Essentially, it's through node specialization. So unlike a typical blockchain, we have many different types of nodes that do very specific things, including inference nodes that run verifiable inference and generate proofs and attestations, data nodes that are able to run secure data pipelines to make these workflows data rich in nature, and a decentralized file store where all the models are stored. And we have today one of the only repositories of Web3 specific models, including, like I mentioned, kind of these small language models, large language models, and a variety of quantitative DeFi focused ML models that allow developers to build many of these powerful AI agents that can manage portfolios, trade, analyze risk on different assets. And we also host, many of our partners' models, including Pond's model, which does Sybil address detection, and repos and Filecoin's models, which do minor allocation and reputation analysis. And kind of tying this back into how we intend to make AI agents intelligent and adaptive in real time. By leveraging these computational workflows powered by these highly specific models, we are able to give AI agents domain-specific intelligence. Instead of getting an extremely generic response from Claude, now when you work with clients on open gradients like Exponent, when you ask it, hey, give me a short-term price prediction on an asset, or give me the risk profile on SUI, it can actually query these models and give you historical forecasts as well as the current live forecast that can give you a much more textured and detailed response that actually addresses the user's concerns. In this case, if I want to buy SUI, I want to understand the risk profile, the current volatility associated with the crypto asset. Another interesting one of our clients, which is Double Up, they are a gamified prediction market protocol. launch an AI agent that allows users to actually bet against the AI agent on the price forecast of different crypto assets. So the human user can type in some price forecast, and the AI agent, of course, can't forecast these prices. So it runs a spot forecasting model on Open Gradient, and that's able to give it, a very specific forecast powered by time series analysis. And in 30 minutes, when the market resolves, either the user doubles up, or doubles their money, or they lose their stake, right? And from a quick preliminary analysis since the launch of this agent last month, we can see that, hey, users actually perform worse than the AI agent because the AI agent has obviously access to ML models that can inform it of what the price predictions are. And this is kind of like a very bare bones, live in production, dealing with real user assets example of how we can give AI agents the ability to predict prices, to eventually trade and manage portfolios effectively through the use of these modular AI and ML focused workflows. And we're also working with many clients, big DeFi protocols, on building analytical quantitative DeFi AI agents that can give them, that can give the protocol and users of the protocol access to many of these analytical capabilities and workflows powered by the kind of AI and ML models on our hub and on our infrastructure. So you can ask, these quantitative agents, hey, what asset should I buy to maximize my risk-adjusted returns? If I have $1 million of Bitcoin, which vaults should I deposit in order to, improve, to maximize the yield I can get on these assets? And this AI agent is able to query and leverage these workflows in order to help users achieve these abstract goals. So I have a quick demo here, which unfortunately probably is not going to load, but this is just a quick example of, if you go to hub.opengradient.ai, you can go upload any arbitrary AI and ML model and inference it within seconds verifiably. And there are tons of different models on there, courtesy of us, as well as many of our modeling partners, as well as individual contributors for AI and ML specific Web3 models that you can go and play around with today. With these models, we're excited to be introducing them as tool calls to the AI agents. And we're working with many of the popular frameworks as well to implement these tool calls. Very excited to be, unleashing the new era of intelligent agents that can leverage these computational workflows to do much more complex and abstract tasks. Thank you.
All right, they've already stormed the stage, but this is Mark Me, and he's going to take you through a panel on all things institutions and AI agents. Big round of applause for the gents, please.
Thank you, Nemo. Sorry about that. I should have just waited. Took your thunder. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Me. I am the head of partner development, VC, and investment relations here at Near Foundation. I don't really probably need to really explain what Near is, since you probably have 4 hours of listening to that here today. So I think we'll get into today's topic of why enterprises and institutions need to start using agents, right? I think on today's, simple chat, we have two very different types of companies. And so maybe we'll start and let them introduce themselves and kind of their background, as well as the company itself. Maybe we'll start with Wooster.
Yeah, it's nice meeting you guys. My name is Wooster. I'm a community lead at Hashed. For those of you who's not familiar with Hashed, we are a venture capital that is focused on Web3. And we are based in San Francisco, Seoul, Bangalore, Singapore, and now we're expanding to Abu Dhabi. And my role at Hashed, as a community lead, I do connect the dots between the portfolio companies so that they can create synergies within our umbrella and try to create good partnerships for our portfolio companies in the meantime.
Hey everyone, my name is Benga Amashui. I'm the head of strategic partnerships at BitGo. What does that mean? That means everything high ROI, high impact, engagements for our business verticals. And of course, for those of you who are not familiar with BitGo, BitGo is probably the largest custodian, independent and qualified custodian in the world. We have over $100 billion in assets under custody. We offer wallet infrastructure, custody, staking, trading, and settlement out of our cold storage. Today we support over 30 L1s, including NEAR, I might add, 1,200 tokens and counting. Innovation doesn't stop at BitGo, and the most two recent tokens we supported are Oasis, which is the GameFi chain, and BitTensor Tau. So we're really souped about the AI space and supporting it from an infrastructure space. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Glad you added that point that NEAR is also integrated. I think otherwise, I don't think you'd be speaking here today. Just kidding on that. But realistically, I think one thing that made me realize while you guys were describing your companies is the fact that I didn't know how large and global, I forgot how large and global Hashed was, right? And just, I think we're pretty lucky today to have basically two leads from two entities at basically, one of the largest Korean VC funds, as well as very global as well. So what's your guys' take in terms of, I guess, within the AI agents, right? What excites you the most? I think that word has been really thrown around a lot in the last few months, and everyone says agent this, agent that, agent token this, agent token that. And so would love for you guys to really talk about what you guys are excited about and what you guys are seeing. So maybe we'll start with Mango.
Yeah, outside of managing my ETHDenver calendar, I think, the two areas I really care about. One is really improving the user experience in Web3 and what AI agents can do for that. And then I come from a finance background, so Agent Fi, so sorry I'm using it, but Agent Fi, which is really just seeing AI agents integrated into DeFi, sort of like an intelligence layer over the global flow of value, and driving AI use cases around trading strategies, liquidity management, portfolio management.
Okay. For me, I guess just put it in a simple term, I think composability of the AI agent is probably the most exciting part. I mean, it's been a while that we've been using a lot of LLM services like OpenAI and Claude and stuff like that. So basically it changed how we interact with information, right? Like our ability, throughout human history, our ability really came from information collection to information processing. And now in this era, information processing is already been changed through AI. So, what implies in this is that, I think I see a lot of AI agents being built, being able to execute certain actions above the information processing. So that means that would allow me to do trade or book a calendar or anything. It's something that Siri has been doing, but in so much more seamless and intelligent manner. So, I think that would change our digital interactions throughout the days. And, why should I not be excited about that?
So I think what both of you guys are also saying is the fact that we're still very early, right? And what I kind of compare this to is, I don't know if you guys play video games or not, but before we had Nintendo, and if you compare that to what computer games are now, it's completely not even comparable, right? And I think that's similar to kind of where we are now, is we're testing these points and these ideas for agents, low-hanging fruit being easy transactions, trades, scraping socials for what hot topic is something that you really want to learn more about or invest in or really jump on, right? And so I think it's always the first phase of having initial tech, and in this case, agents, to really do that low-hanging fruit. But then we use it we use that word so widely that we think we're already there, but in reality, I think it's still very much in the early stages. Both of your guys' companies are really two completely different realms, one being more investor, one being more of an institutional service provider. I guess, how do you guys see agents, AI agents, really changing your guys' day-to-days or kind of what you guys expect in the next 5 to 10 years?
For me, I think just day-to-day operations is rather easy. Just translating a document to different languages has always been quite an issue, because we have very global offices with different linguistic capabilities within the team. And I think, the advance of AI agents kind of made it so much better in terms of communications. Another aspect of that is probably doing the research, right? So we used to have a lot of interns just doing the research and to follow with the trend, given that this crypto market has crazy hectic speed of having the new trend, new narrative. The meme coin was crazy. Now with AI agents, I think it's much easier if I just set the right parameter for that so-called alpha gathering through AI agents. It's not just confined to VCs. I think it would apply to a lot of retail users and day-to-day like crypto traders as well in the coming days. Yeah, and I think not implemented right now, and not sure if we're going to plan for that. But if Bridgewater by Ray Dalio, in his book, he said even back in like 1990s and early 2000s, he used computer algorithms to make decisions and to make more rational decisions in the market. And now that AI agents are actively being discussed to get into the market and do like more instantaneous trading, I think you would have potential to make some of the important decisions that we don't want our emotions or fear to be infiltrated and kind of taint the decision. So that should be some of the part that would quite be exciting to explore in the future.
So, sounds a bit scary. But and just last point is, are you guys already utilizing that within your day-to-days now, or not?
No,
not really.
Yeah.
No.
But it's just possibilities as AI agents gets developed and more private, so that we don't fear this decision does not affect any like market manipulations or anything.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, very similar. Early days, so we're exploring it, but any data flow any processor that is data intensive is definitely areas where we think AI agents can play a role. So whether it's streamlining, HR processes or financial planning, sales campaigns, that sort of a thing, or understanding, what's going on in the market, or areas like high level like think. And then from, our core business on the custody side, maybe use cases around wallet security, risk management for our trading platform, or some of the areas we think that, agentic, AI agents can sort of like come in. But again, still very early days, but we're fully supportive of it.
So knowing that it's quite early and knowing that it's constantly changing, how are you guys staying on top of it? And how do you view if I'm not reading news for basically a week, I feel like I'm already out of the know, right? Like forgot about a new large language model or a new foundational model that is now better and cheaper and things like that. I guess, are you guys actually looking at it a lot and keep making sure you keep up on the data and the updates? Because I think it is difficult.
We're plugged into the conversations, right? I'm here. We have a good relationship with Near, and we have an ecosystem fund that talks to a number of folks who are building in this space. And so we're definitely staying attuned and abreast of developments in the space. And you need to do that if you want to remain competitive, if you want to optimize your business processes. And of course, there's the other side, which we haven't really touched on, but the ethical considerations around AI and how we as good, good actors, there's the word, wanted to make sure that we're aligned from an ethical perspective as well.
I think that's the point I was trying to get Megan to really highlight, is that I think if you don't innovate and you don't actually follow along, I mean, you're kind of screwed in a way, right? You're going to be left back and not be able to catch up. So I guess, Brewster, I guess, is this something that you guys prioritize, or how do you stay on top of it from a fund perspective, investor perspective?
I mean, I know there's a strong narrative between crypto and AI, but I think as an asset class, it is still, there has to be some of the amendments within the business models of how AI and crypto should be made. We're excited about how things are being integrated, and we're excited about like people being incentivized through developing this open source LLM models and AI infrastructures. But when it comes to like investment decisions on specific tokens, there has to be sort of a value accrual process for that. And it's also my personal opinion where I think for a lot of AI crypto projects, I like the initiative and I like the spirit. But currently there's one lacking part, which is the AI products creating revenues. And that, because it is missing, now the tokens are just being said as mere meme tokens that are constantly being printed out. But the intention is there for the development for the AI in crypto. So we're looking very close to how we can improve this space. We're also working with like small and large institutions on how to make their product better with integration with LLM products. But so we're looking into a lot of different aspects and different sides, but genuinely excited about the integration.
I think it's kind of funny. You highlight the R word that normally people in blockchain don't like to talk about, which is revenue. But I think you're right. I mean, that's the direction in order for long-term sustainability, long-term growth, and really adoption. That's the proof point, right? But being here and seeing the vision. Every time I talk to Ilya, I always feel really feel his passion and motivation and kind of what we're really talking about in terms of user-owned AI, right? The future where you control kind of your own data and have a decision in it. Right now, we're all scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, and they have all of our data, right? We're not paying for these services. They basically own us, and they know that. But now, if you actually see the next stage, if there's actually agents built on top of that data, it's mind-blowingly scary, right? And so what are your guys' thoughts in terms of, I guess, decentralization and how important and how to prioritize that, as well as the user-owned, user-controlled agents? This way you have a choice versus if we don't, then it's just like Terminator and Skynet.
Decentralization is extremely important. We've seen how centralized AI is essentially abusing the space right now and owning a lot of user data. I love the way Near AI puts it. And so I think your mission statement is, the future is owned by the user, something like that. I can't remember. And I think that's key. If we're going to focus on security, if we're going to focus on privacy, if we're going to focus on allowing users to do with their data what they want, then we need to align the use cases as they evolve to the centralized model, which is, of course, the ethos of crypto. So my thoughts there really is just we need folks like yourself and other builders in the space to really drive creating these agents in a very decentralized and open source way.
So maybe click a little bit deeper. What do you think it takes to get there, right? I mean, like, where are we in that process, right? Because I think obviously we know we're early, but I guess how close or what is needed, right? And the reason I bring this up is because I get really excited when I think about our current cross-chain execution layer. We spent all last year, Near spent all last year really focusing on chain abstraction and chain signatures, and a lot of the team members here have really put in a lot of that effort to ensure that you're able to work with different chains and really to take and remove that layer where chain now doesn't really matter anymore, right? And so to give you few examples, we're utilizing chain signatures able to really access prior other, I guess, chains and tokens that previously were not able to be swapped or worked with, such as Ripple, Bitcoin, Zcash. On the first day of Bear Chain launching their token, we were able to integrate that within our Near intents as well, and able to do swaps. So I think that's what excites me in this point that, look, now we have this cross-chain execution layer that you're able to go from ideally, fiat to anything and then back to fiat, right? And thus able to go from the AI piece, the AI agent side, where at this point you can have and work with those agents to execute whatever you want it to execute, right? And takes that barrier away. And so I think that's kind of really the exciting piece. With that said, what types of AI projects or are you guys looking at? Are you excited about? I don't know, Wooster, if there's, especially from the investment side, that really jumps out at you guys.
Yeah, I mean, like we just look into the general crypto and AI sector overall. Not to mention any specific projects, but AI agents, how their framework is, how well is it being integrated to, to interact with smart contracts. And also, we're also looking into, something like open source, but with the sustainable incentive mechanisms inside. And I think there has to be multiple factors to play inside. Like in general, I think like decentralization of AI development is a must option to have and not an option. Because like if you think about social media, how the big tech has been maximizing their revenues and profits out of the algorithms has really changed how we interact with information. And just imagining how AI will change that again, but in such a more private manner, kind of scares me. So I think while the big tech companies will continue to build their own AI models, I think decentralized open source projects should really be there to create an alternative for people to still benefit the technology and leave out the world. So we are doing doing a lot of thorough research on the framework, on the development of LLM models. But yeah, some of the specific projects, I think it's not quite safe to mention it to speed out.
Okay, not a problem. Yeah, definitely wasn't hoping for someone to call out some specific projects, but I think you bring up a very interesting point of the change of efficiency and how things change, right? And I see that from multiple different points. An example would be, how just compute, right? It was so much more expensive prior, and maybe it'll slowly go down and just be more of a commodity. When you see, data storage, right? DA, I think that was a discussion point where before, is it all equal? Is it different? And I think, as it gets more improved and it's actually utilized, it gets more efficient because the demand's there. Thus, you either increase supply or you improve the supply to make it so that it's more efficient, right?
Yeah, I'm 100% biased here. I come from a finance background, so for me, it's all the use cases in finance, agentic FI, building trading strategies, portfolio management, risk management. So a lot of those AI agents and have a better financial outcomes, however the entities or the enterprises define that, is really exciting for me.
So I mean, we only have about a minute left, and I'm trying to think. Typically, institutional products don't get that much investment in terms of short. They're much longer term and maybe larger investment capital needed, right? I mean, what do you guys see at least within, I would say, this year that's exciting that you would want to be created or invested upon, right? What type of agents? Because in my mind, I think what we've seen thus far has just been very social media related, or digging or investments related, things like that. I guess, is there any specific vertical that jumps out that you think, I think there's going to be a lot of interest moving forward in that specific point? And this idea just jumped out at me, so I don't know. You guys have any views?
I think the closest touch point would be research, isn't it, for institutions? It's just the easiest access, risk-free for now. Not sure about how AI agents will be integrated with the actual trading for institutions, since there should be a lot of verticals to be sorted out in terms of custody or just the mechanics and the safety of the choices that they would make. But yeah, I think research translation, they're just the easiest bits for institutions to get involved.
I mean, the reason I brought that up also is the fact that I know we're really looking for a lot of, developers to really build out these agents. And we have 50 verticals and use cases that each of them could actually be their own businesses, right? I think the problem that we're going to see is that a lot of these are not actually, the agent issue. It's more of the go-to-market and adoption, which just like it's not about chains being faster, it's actually what is it used for? Why should they use it, right? So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the core of BitGo's DNA is custody and security. So in light of recent events, we would probably want to explore how agents can help with earlier detection,
risk
and risk,
right?
around movements and changing some patterns or areas where we potentially could enhance our current offering to our clients today. But that's the only thing that immediately jumps to mind.
Okay, well, awesome. Well, I think our time is up. So really appreciate you guys being up here as well as everyone else for listening and hopefully enjoying our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Amen. Yeah. Praise God.
There's no time when you celebrate. So come on and free your mind the way you did mine. Feels just like I own it too. Feels just like I own it too. This time. There's no time when you celebrate. So come on and free your mind the way you did mine. Feels just like I own it too. Feels just like I own it too. This time. There's no time when you celebrate. So come on and free your mind the way you did mine. Feels just like I own it too. Feels just like I own it too. This time.
Test, test. Hey, everybody, how's it going? So these are not my demos. I didn't build anything, but there's an entire ecosystem of developers who are. And so today we're going to just be demoing two short things. One of them is a browser operator. So who here is familiar with like OpenAI's operator? How about like Anthropic's like computer use agents? Okay, TLDR. It's an agent that is able to navigate your browser and click things on your behalf. It's pretty cool. And so we've been working very closely with an amazing team called Silverstream. They have built this in collaboration with us, and I am super, super happy to demo the sort of first iteration of it. I will say this is not 100% production ready. This is just kind of showing you a little bit behind the curtain on what's to come, because in the Near AI Hub and elsewhere, you will be able to have an agent that can navigate your browser for you and accomplish tasks. This means you're not going to need, very sort of vertical specific agents to do things. It's much more generalizable. And so you don't need to pay $200 a month in order to get access to this once it is actually live. And yeah, if you have any more questions about this, Manuel, if you can quickly raise your hand and stand up. This is the guy who built it, and him and his team. So shout out to him. And we're just going to play the quick video demo for you right now. And so video team, this is the cloud operator agent, also known as Silvestro. Oh, not that one. Great. Click play. And so what you're seeing here is an agent navigating Airbnb, and it is going to book a hotel for you. And so all it's really doing is you type in your prompts, put in the dates, put in the times, the location, and you put your price range. You do have to be a little bit specific on exactly what you're looking for, because obviously the agent can't guess it until it has, perfect information of what you're interested in. And so once you give it the prompt, it is going, kind of frame by frame. These are a bunch of screenshots of the agent working in real time. But in the future, there will be a live stream component, so you can just very quickly and easily see the agent, working for you. Now, a couple caveats is that, it does take some time for the agent to really interpret the page and understand what you're looking for. And so it's going to get faster and faster over time. But the whole idea here is you give an agent a prompt, it goes, executes, actions on your behalf, but it doesn't necessarily need to be faster than a human, because this can run simultaneously as you're doing other things. So once you give an agent a certain activity or action, it can just go and do it. Now, there are some, blockers. This is not an easy problem to solve. Manuel has been researching this for 10 years, did his PhD in this field, and this is, coming soon to the Near AI Hub. The demo is there. If you go to Silvestro, you can check it out. But overall, this is going to be a free open version of Near AI's, it's Near AI's operator, but a free and open source version of OpenAI's operator, or any other operator for that matter. So this is really, really exciting. And soon enough, you will be able to navigate any web pages arbitrarily with agents in the Near AI Hub. So shout out to the Silverstream team for their contributions to this, this product. And really looking forward to seeing what comes next. So thank you. And next, we have a demo of agents building agents, because, that's how superintelligence is ultimately going to happen. His agents will start building each other. And we do have an example of this, happening. So if the video 2 crew can pull up the other, this one actually has sound. So if we can keep the room kind of quiet so we can hear the builders give the sound demo. Video crew, is there any chance that you can turn on the sound? Otherwise, I will have to read it. Just read it?
Okay. This agent for you. You can also ask him to add some additional features or fix bugs. And it can use private or public APIs, and it can store secrets for you. So I'm going to ask him to create the agent that will query CoinMarketCap API for some cryptocurrency quotes. So generate the plan. Here is the name of the agent. Here the development plan. Now we should wait until it will generate the code. So the code is generated. As we can see, to use this API key to access CoinMarketCap API, it said that you need to provide the API key to the CoinMarketCap, and here the agent is deployed. So I have CoinMarketCap key. So please use CMC key. Or here, CMC key, CoinMarketCap. Yeah, it said the API key. Now we can try the agent. So give me price of BTC. Contract BTC is 88,000. Now let's ask him to support the conversion. So turn back here. So please update the agent so that it can also convert the price of one cryptocurrency to specified cryptocurrency. It should convert convert parameter of, yeah, so generate the plan and updated the code. That's all. Thank you.
So yeah, what you just witnessed is an agent building another agent that can trade on behalf of a user. And this is really exciting. And this architecture is really dynamic and can be used for a lot of other things in the future as well. So these are just 2 demos of some ecosystem projects. There are so many other projects building. And actually, we just got one of our PRs merged with Eliza OS, if anyone's familiar with the Eliza framework. And so all agent builders will actually have the default option to host with the Near AI Hub to get access to free inference and then eventually verifiable privacy. And that's really cool because this is actually just a prerequisite for mass adoption. And so next piece, and actually this was merged today, is all Eliza agents can now interact with any Near contracts and swap and manage assets across any Near account. So that's cool, but it doesn't fully leverage the sort of full extent of Near technology using chain signatures and Near intents. These agents are also going to be able to interact with any blockchain that supports ECDSA signatures. So an agent can now manage wallets and accounts on Bitcoin, on Dogecoin, on Ripple, and everything else. And so this is really just a playbook that we will be continuously adopting across every other agent framework to, get every agent in the crypto world hosted on Near, and also enable these things to seamlessly interact across all chains. I see this as a way to finally check the blockchain box and move on to build things that truly change the world. So shout out to Robert Yan for building all of that and making that pull request, and also the Eliza Labs team for getting it merged and reviewing it quickly. So thank you again. These are just some quick demos, and there's obviously much more to come. So welcome, Peter from Hot.
All right, thank you very much, Cameron. Good idea using a screen recording this time. Yeah, you don't want to share the screen. Anyway, this is Peter from Hot. He's about to talk to you about all things AI agents. But before I give the mic over to you, Peter, don't forget there is a lot of fresh food over there. It's delicious. It's nutritious. There's coffee, there's water, there's tea, there's swag outside. Peter, over to you. Kill it. Let's hear for Peter.
Hello, everyone. My name is Peter, and I'm of Hot Labs. And for last year, we built a lot of shit in Near, and especially we built a lot of stuff for their MPC infrastructure. We was responsible for the Hot protocol and Hot wallet, which provided now the biggest community of users on Near. And the Hot protocol provide people ability to create MPC wallets on top of Near protocol. That's very great technology. And this Monday, we added support for the first MPC protocol to the Hot, and now it supports MPC wallet on Solana, Ton, Stellar, and other new generation blockchains. So because it's Near AI Day, I want to share a little more use cases how now AI agents can use a Hot MPC infrastructure for autonomic agents. So Hot MPC infrastructure not only give you access for some technology features, it's give you access to the huge community of Hot users. We have more than 30 million users right now, more than 2 million monthly active wallets. When I last time checked, we're responsible for more than 80% of all unique swaps on Near. And this community growing fast multi-chain. We are top two application on the Prodar. Group of product, you will have access with your autonomic agents if you support our MPC protocol. It's mobile wallet extension, account marketplace, a lot of different products. The great things about Hot protocol is that there's already more than 3 million EVM wallets created on top of Hot protocol. And if you build the EA agent, it will be available to work with them. By default, every wallet in Hot, if it's a EVM wallet, is MPC wallet, and it works on top of Hot protocol. Some great stuff about it. We support good stuff about Hot. We support more than 120 chains. There's a pretty cool SDK for developers. You can call Sign API for smart contracts. Your AI agents can work with our SDK to call directly nodes. You only have to stake some hot and you will get RPC how many transactions you can sign. And if you work with our smart contracts on Near, you can create a limited case for the EVM accounts. And that will enable you to only process swaps for users, only process breaches for users. And your AI agents will able to control limited access to the user's EVM account. Next, we'll launch our browser extension. It's going to be live in the next couple of weeks. And if you're working with the AI agent, you will be able to create automatic bots trading swaps for users on their main wallet. And it's going to be completely secure with limited access to their user account. We're going to add AI widgets. So if you have an AI agent, you will be able to provide like special statistic widgets, infographics to the hot application. And we are working on the platform which will be backed by hot omnibalance, and your AI bots will be able to trade for users, create intense execute transaction for users. Your AI bots will be able to restake assets, and it will be very simple to do because native SDK of hot already support more than 100 chains, and it support a lot of non-EVM chains. And your AI agents can just say, I want to restake tokens from Aave to Borrow, and it's done. All code stuff will be processing on the background. Your AI agents just can make simple high-level decision, and it's all going to work. And people will be able to track it. They will see, like you can see this example with this chat. What happened, what your bot just did, why he did some restaked, did he buy some tokens, did he sell it, what his recommendation to your portfolio. Thanks. I hope you will all look a little to Hot Protocol MPC and how your AI agents can work and bring some great benefits for our users. And looking forward to see more AI agents with Hot MPC. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's better. Yeah, thank you.
Are we next? I believe so. Are we going next? But there is a rapidly evolving solution that nobody understands when it's going to happen. But there is
All right. Hope you enjoyed that from Peter. Peter is, of course, the CEO of one of the largest applications in all of crypto, not just Near. And the same can be said about one of our next guests. So please give a big round of applause for Oleg Fomenko of Sweat and Jeff Wilzer of AI Curious.
Thank you. It is great. Yes. Dramatic fall here. Thank you. It is great to be here. Thank you all. Thank you, Nir. My name is Jeff Wilser. I'm the host of the podcast AI Curious and the recently launched podcast, The People's AI, the Decentralized AI Podcast, joined by Oleg. Great to be here. Oleg, please share a bit about yourself and what your North Star is at Sweat.
Great question. Well, good afternoon. Pleasure being here. I'm Oleg. I'm co-founder and CEO of Sweat and Sweat Wallet. Together we call it Sweat Economy. We'll get into that a little bit later. And our North Star as a business is to make your active day as valuable as possible. Effectively, it's what are the 10,000 steps that an average person takes a day generates an income to them. So we want to make you healthier and wealthier by making you move more.
What I love about Oleg's answer, if you're, just if you didn't notice this, not once did he mention AI. And what I think is cool about this is, not yet, no, and we'll get there, but there's so many projects, and like no shame, no judgment, many projects are launched and announced as being this AI company. And that's great. Again, there are plenty of worthy ones. But my personal speculation here is that a lot of mass adoption we'll see, a lot of real use cases of AI we'll see are a little more under the hood and not in the bright and shiny AI objects. And I think as we'll see with Sweat and Oleg, AI is crucial to your growth and scaling, even though it's not on kind of the obvious surface level. So we're going to get to how AI is a main driver of him scaling, and from him scaling, therefore, the path of billions and trillions of AI agents. But on that journey, before we go there, Oleg, tell us a bit about the origin stories of Sweat and then how Nir came to be involved, and then we'll kind of get to the AI-ness of it all.
Yeah, we started in 2014 and with a project called Sweat Coin. As the name would suggest, we want to be on blockchain, but it was too early. We spent a bit of time trying to fork Bitcoin, but we realized too slow, too cumbersome, no smart contracts. So we spoken to Vitalik in 2015, but it was too early, and we launched centralized.
That was pre-Ethereum, right? So you were speaking of Vitalik pre-Ethereum, right?
Yeah, Ethereum wasn't called Ethereum back then. I don't remember what was the project name, but it was research-grade code that we spent some time on, and we realized that, you know what, it was too early. It was just prone to, kind of some issues. And we launched centralized, and we were absolutely sure that within 6 months, we're going to find, if it's not Ethereum, then there will be another project that we will jump on. We scaled extremely quickly. By 2016, we already had several million users, and it was way too late because our transaction requirements became about 200 to 300 transactions per second, which would be orders of magnitude higher than Bitcoin or Ethereum were able to deliver. So by sidestepping blockchain at the beginning, we actually saved the chain that we would have built on, and we saved our business because invariably it would have been dead. So fast forward, every year we were dabbling and looking at everything that's happening in blockchain, testing various different solutions. But it only happened in 2022 when a bunch of really high throughput chains went into production. Near, Solana, Avalanche. So we looked at 14 different ones, and we chose Near actually for 3 reasons. One is alignment and strategy for mass adoption and really driving, kind of penetration of blockchain solutions into billions of people. Second was team, which is absolutely incredible, and it's an absolute pleasure to work with them. Third was throughput, and very importantly, no cap. Because, for example, if you're building on EVM, you know that if you hit 525 transactions per second, your fees are going to start going through the roof, and everyone's going to be pissed off. Everything is going to slow down. Everything is going to become really expensive. That's not something that we could afford. Near's sharded architecture gave us confidence that we would be able to scale horizontally. When we started, there were 2 shards on Near. Now there are 6. And I'm hearing, based on the number of kind of hair spikes on Bo and Wang's head, that we are rapidly approaching 8. So it's been an incredible journey, but it gives me confidence in the future.
Okay, so you have grown also 2014, like well before any of this was cool, you were building this. You've increasingly gotten decentralized. You have how many users roughly now?
In Web2, we have more than 180 million registered users.
What, 180?
180. Yeah.
Okay.
In Web3, we have nearly 20 million token holders of Sweat, which makes us, I believe, 9th widest held token in the world. And we have roughly 3 million active users per month, close to 2 million on-chain active per month.
I'm so glad you went there and shared that because again, my thesis is, this might be the closest we'll get to approximating the rest, like in the non-Web3 world, like actual like big companies, corporations. And that is kind of like getting those folks to embrace decentralized AI is the way I think will eventually, in my own personal view, will eventually get to, quote, trillions of AI agents. So let's now pivot to, you are not an AI company. You have been like for a decade, you've been scaling. How are you now starting to use AI for your own growth? And then we'll kind of get into to what extent you're embracing AI agents and how you see that fitting into the larger ecosystem of kind of growing the AI agents universe.
There are several questions there, and I'll try to unpack them. You know, our approach to building is actually not idea-based, but a problem-based. So the problem that we're solving is to make the world physically more active. Everyone wants that, and there is nothing simpler than simply tokenizing and rewarding you for every single step.
Wait, you know,
Does
okay,
wonders.
actually, yeah, let's give a quick like primer for those who have not yet bought into the Sweatlands. Give us like a 20-second pitch of what for an average user.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you get? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, Sweat is the value of your physical activity tokenized. We all know that our physical activity is not zero value, right?
Mine's pretty close to zero, but I hear you in concept.
I'm pretty confident that if somebody would offer you to go and run a marathon and bring back some beer, you would tell them to go screw themselves. Because you value your time and you value your calories and you value your movement. There is value there. We feel it intuitively. And what we're doing is we're tokenizing it and giving that value to you. To juxtapose it with attention economy. So movement economy, what we're building is around the value of you being active. Attention economy that everyone's familiar with, $7 trillion economy, by the way, works in the following fashion. Google takes your attention, sells it to the highest bidder, puts all the money in the pocket, and all you get is 2 gigs with a Gmail.
Yep, got it. So shorthand, I've got, and I downloaded it, all kidding aside, I have the Sweat app on my phone. As when I walk here, when I walk out of here, it's capturing my steps. I'll be rewarded ultimately with Sweat tokens. All right, let's pivot now to you've been building.
And these tokens have utility.
Yes.
And we've been deflationary because I very frequently get this question. So how are you different from other move to earn apps? Well, very simply, we've been at it for 10 years. We're still around. Our Web2 business is profitable for years. Our Web3 business is on path to become profitable. And we know how to build sustainable tokenomics because Sweat was deflationary since July 2023. So we are really building for long term. And that's why I'm saying that our goal is to make the world physically active and to make your active day, the value of an active day that you get, as high as possible. So that will bring billion people and it will make them more physically active.
So when did you first bring in AI into the equation? And then what's it doing for you now?
Yeah. So coming back to, we're solving a problem, not starting with idea, which basically means we're looking at every tech that comes our way as an opportunity to enhance our product, make it slicker, faster, better, simpler. To illustrate, we couldn't build on blockchain, we launched centralized. When blockchain technology became fast enough and robust enough, we deployed it.
You're a pragmatist. You're more into solutions than an ideology.
Yeah,
sure.
Kind of anything goes as long as it pushes us in that direction. Then AI came along. We deployed our first AI product, which is an MVP, in November last year with the sole objective of just simply starting to test and understand how to talk about it, how to position it, And guess what? We had 700,000 questions asked through that AI. And when we were developing what we're about to show you, we did not start from scratch. We didn't start with some hypothetical ideas like, what would people be interested in? We basically just looked through 700,000 questions. We brought the list of 4 to 5 that pretty much everyone was interested in. And then we pushed the boundary to integrate these answers so that you're not looking just at text, but you can actually take an action right away from your personal AI agent answer, which means that we can remove a lot of friction. We can actually remove a lot of functionality from our app. For example, DAO voting is used 4 to 5 times a year. We don't need to have a graphic interface for it. In the future, it is going to be run through chatbot and LLM. So simpler, only core things, and everything that is used occasionally can be managed through personal AI agent.
Amazing. And was there something you wanted to show or share? Is this?
Yeah. Gentlemen, is there a chance that you could run that demo? I have to say that it's working. I have it here. The problem is that there is no cable that, you know.
You can see his phone, right?
Yeah.
Everyone can see us clearly on his phone.
Yeah, it's true. If in doubt, come and, you know, approach me after this, and I'll show you that it's actually working.
Okay. So what? So there is a thing happening here. Okay, great.
Her name is Mia. Movement in action. So do you see there are those prompts, which is 4 or 5 questions that are most frequently asked.
So this, while we're watching this, as I understand it, Oleg, this has spared your team the expense of creating FAQ pages, of creating explainer videos, of, as I'm sure many of this folks in this room know, all of the content and tasks you have to do to deal with massive onboarding, that has dramatically been reduced thanks to this AI solution. Is that right?
But most importantly, it spared our users time and effort to go and find those FAQs, filter through them, and read text. They ask a question exactly how they want, and they just get a very, very concise answer. And what you see there is, it's not just a concise answer that you're getting. For example, a lot of our users are asking, so what are grow jars and which one should I choose? Basically, the answer is there are 2 types of grow jars. Step-based jars is where you earn on the basis of physical activity. And if you want to create one, you just press a button and it gives you a transaction. You just put an amount and you confirm and it's done. So easier interface, easier to find information, and it allows our users not to waste time, you know, trying to go to YouTube and watch some videos or go to FAQs and help pages.
One thing you shared with me off mic is your idea, and let me know if I'm getting this wrong, is that to get to true billions or trillions of AI agents in a mainstream way, that actually has to come from human beings. Can you elaborate on this, what you mean by that, and then kind of how it relates to both to you and Near, and then maybe advice you have for a larger space that's kind of developing all of these tools?
Yeah. I believe that at this stage of AI development, everything will start with humans. Even deployment of an agent, ultimately, somebody is going to have to sit down, write some code, or, you know, give it a prompt and swipe to create it and give it some budget. So in order for those trillions of agents to appear, we either need to have a lot of builders deploying crazy number of agents, or we can give our 3 million active users personal AI agents, train them better, make sure that users build confidence, and then build into this personal AI agent capability for them to deploy AI agents on Near AI directly from directly from the agent prompt. I think that that is going to be an extremely interesting way for people to experiment. And we're going to see definitely an explosion of agents created. This is not what we're going to start with as an MVP. However, this is something that the team is extremely excited about.
I love that. I think it's a nice counterweight to the idea that we'll just have some awesome code and then poof, these agents all appear. To your point, it kind of starts with onboarding humans for some use case, which you've been doing for a decade, and the agents flow from that.
Absolutely. And look, AI is there to make life of our users better, faster. Ultimately, I believe that we will be able to farm out to this agent a lot more than just the chat. For example, all communication will go through the chatbot. Onboarding will be done with LLM and chatbot. And we're not starting with an agent able to do transactions for you, because a lot of our users are feeling nervous about this. However, that is a destination, especially with near account structure. I can foresee that I would give my personal agent an authority to spend, let's say, $100, swipe it off, and see what it does without worrying that this agent can potentially drain all the assets that I have on my account.
Great, hopeful note to end on. Thanks again, sir. Enjoyed it. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
This time will come. Ever since I first looked in your eyes, I said you're the one. Oh my God, oh my God. Tell me I'm the one. Oh my God, oh my God. I wanna feel you standing next to me. Late in the evening when the sun comes down, under the starlight as the birds fly by, I see the dust fill the twilight sky. I feel the warmth of your hand in mine. It's in the air, it's in the air, it's in the air we breathe. It's all around us now. But when the lights come down, I wanna feel you standing next to me. Can you hear me now? There's a lifetime in front of me. And in my time of time, I wanna feel you standing next to me. Baby, I knew this time would arrive. I knew this time would come. Ever since I first looked in your eyes.
Good. Awesome. Hey everyone, I'm John Peterson from Coinbase. I work on the Coinbase developer platform. I am the engineering lead for AgentKit and work on several AI initiatives within the developer platform. Today we're going to go over AgentKit, some of the CDP products, and how to deploy AgentKit agents on Near AI Agent Hub. so we can get started. So Coinbase is enabling on-chain agentic commerce. There are already over 20,000 on-chain agents running on Coinbase developer rails. The combined market cap of on-chain agent kit agents is estimated to be over 4 billion USD today, and we're deploying more and more agents from our developers every day. So first of all, what is CDP? CDP is Coinbase's developer platform. Our vision is 1 million developers building on-chain for 1 billion users. How do we do it? We're making it simple to build on-chain apps, and we're making it even simpler for your users to use on-chain applications. So just a quick product overview for CDP here. We can split into 3 main categories. We have a payment stack, which includes smart and API wallets, on-ramp and off-ramp, send and receive, staking and yield, a set of on-chain tools, including Node, Faucet, Paymaster, data, and verifications. And then we have our development frameworks, which we're going to key in on a bit more in today's presentation, mainly on-chain kit, CDP SDK, as well as agent kit for AI agents. Notably, all of the CDP products are meant to be used, as a additive, and will be able to be used eventually by your AI agents themselves autonomously. So next, we'll talk a little bit about on-chain enabled AI agents. At CDP, we believe that every AI agent deserves a wallet. It's impossible today to give an AI ownership of a bank account, but it's very straightforward to give an AI agent a crypto wallet, and it's even easier for the agent to perform internet-native, permissionless, and near-instant rails for payment and data transfer using that wallet and using the agent's access to blockchain. With on-chain actions, we can provide even more powerful tools to these agents, to create their own tokens, perform borrow and lend, and on-ramp, off-ramp from fiat into crypto. So now let's talk a little bit about the current crypto AI landscape. And so we've split this roughly into 3 main categories. You have AI agents, which you can think of as the consumer applications, frameworks and hubs like Eliza, Game, several others there, and then the lower level infrastructure required, which is namely the data layer. So that's training data, and then the AI foundational model LLM inference layers. And so what is AgentKit? AgentKit is a developer toolkit for building and deploying custom AI agents with pre-configured environments and ready-to-use templates. AgentKit empowers you to give any AI agent, regardless of framework, model, network, or wallet provider, access to a crypto wallet across any network with native support for EVM and SVM networks. So where does the AgentKit sit within the AI crypto landscape today? It sits roughly in between the frameworks and hubs and the training data and AI inference. It's primarily a toolkit and set of core primitives and actions that allow agents to have their own blockchain wallets and interact on-chain. Why AgentKit? AgentKit allows you to unlock new agentic capabilities. This lets you unleash your agents on-chain with new superpowers, and allows you to transact with programmatic transactions, interact with smart contracts, and send any agent or human crypto or on-ramp and off-ramp within fiat. It enables new business models. It allows you to send dollars for free, own a new distribution network and interaction paradigm. And it allows you to drive AI adoption and growth by accessing the on-chain crypto developer community and the AI community as well. We also strive to set the industry standard for early adoption for AI applications with integrated crypto payment solutions in a secure and compliant manner in accordance to Coinbase's standards for data and privacy security. Main use cases can be broken down into 2 categories. Human assistance, which is essentially human-in-the-loop agents. These take natural language commands. They're relatively intent-based. And the way that they interact is human in the loop. Human asks the agent to do something, then the human interprets that via the LLM inference, and then uses AgentKit to interact on chain or interact with any other API that your agent may have access to. The next set of use cases are autonomous agents. Autonomous agents allow you to interact without direct human intervention. These agents are deployed on an agent deployment hub, deployed directly on chain, or deployed locally, and they allow the agent to run freely based on their predefined set of goals and actions that they want to perform to achieve their directive. So one small aside here, also, the best use case for AI is AI robot dogs with crypto wallets. We will have our own CDP robot dogs tomorrow at the CDP ETHDenver event. They'll be there all day. You will be able to interact with them powered by AgentKit. You can ask them to do tricks, do all kinds of different things, and you can pay them, and they'll actually accept the money and validate it within their wallet with an AgentKit. Bit of a side note, but please come play with the dogs tomorrow. They're a lot of fun. So what's coming next for AgentKit? We want to support more AI agented actions across all chains. We want to support a vast variety of DeFi borrow and lend protocols on EVM, SVM, and any other networks that you're willing to contribute to. We also want to support a vast variety of wallet providers. We currently today have access to local account Veeam wallets, CDP API wallets, CDP smart wallets, as well as Privy server wallets across a variety of networks. And we want to expand that to include any wallet that you may want to interact with. We want your AI agent to be able to use natively and seamlessly as well. We're open source friendly and are actively seeking open source contributors. So feel free to contribute anything that is interest to you or that you're building locally for your own AI agents. I'm sure other people may be interested in using them as well. On that point, next thing that we're focusing on is making it trivial to PR any on-chain actions you want. We want to make the open source contribution as seamless as possible. And then finally, we want to focus on progressively decentralizing the stack to support fully autonomous agents in a more native and seamless way, both from the wallet and the tool, the tool standpoint. So we're the Coinbase developer platform. How can we get started? Here's some QR codes to get started with our developer Discord, as well as the developer platform documentation for AgentKit. Feel free to go there. There'll be quick start CLIs that can get you set up with projects locally. And then once you're ready to deploy your agents and get them out in the world, providing real value to users, we can move on to deploying to an agent hub, such as the Near AI Agent Hub. Here on the left, you can see the Agent Hub. On the right, we have a QR code going directly to Agent Hub. Please try it out and deploy an AgentKit agent. And so now I'm going to walk through just quickly the steps involved in deploying an AgentKit agent via template to the Near AI Agent Hub. So first stop is in the top right, there's a plus. You can click on that. Once you're there, it'll bring you to this screen for deploying a new agent. You can select AgentKit by Coinbase from the set of templates to include. AgentKit within our repo provides a series of templates that you can use to deploy directly to Agent Hub to get you started. This provides a base wallet provider using the CDP API wallet, as well as a core set of agent actions to get you started interacting with some of the top DeFi protocols to do things like swap, borrow, lend, faucet on testnet, wrapping tokens, interacting with ERC20s and 721s, etc. Once you select the template, you can put in a name for your agent and version it, and then you can click deploy. This will deploy your agent onto the AI hub, and your agent will begin running autonomously. From there, if you want to go a step further and actually develop your agent past the template, you can use the Near AI CLI to pull down the Python module for your agent from the registry. From there, you can navigate to the downloaded source code, and you can pretty much just hack away. You can add any wallet provider, any chain, any action that AgentKit supports. And then finally, you can republish your changes, again, using the Near AI CLI back to the registry, and your agent will be updated on the deployer hub and will be able to use all of the tools that you've added Feel free to use any of the default actions that we have, implement any of your own locally or through open source contributions. The world is pretty open here. You can do really anything you want with these agents. And so I hope that Agent Kit is able to empower you to build really powerful applications and get agents that are out in the world contributing real value, both to the Web3 and Web2 communities. That's all from me. Thanks, everyone. Happy to take any questions that you have, but if not, thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's still time to grab the food, grab the drinks, grab the swag, grab the shirts, do whatever you want that makes you happy. But now we have a question we all need to ask ourselves, and that is, what if DeFi just worked? Well, Paul, you're going to tell us the answer, right? Big round of applause for Paul, everyone.
All right. So I guess the premise of this is crypto is supposed to be the financial rails of the future. And clearly, as of today, it is not. It's supposed to give people back ownership of their money, their financial rails, what they can do with it. But somewhere along the way, we made a trade-off. And the trade-off we made was decentralization for chaos. And it's going to be no surprise to anyone that my solution for DeFi in this talk is going to be AI and agents. If you're more of an active listener, go ahead and scan the QR code and play with some of the dozens of agents live today. But to start, we're going to step back. And we're going to step back to talk about automation and finance and what people expect to be able to do with their money. Because people don't want to actively manage their money. They don't want to be spending time every day tracking investments, making sure payments went out. They want things to just work. And in order for that to actually happen, we don't need more UX, UI. We don't need better education. That's asking people to come into crypto and learn and do more than they already do in whatever fintech apps and products that they're using today. So what does an execution layer for crypto need to accomplish? Well, it needs to act on behalf of users the way most fintech apps do today. It needs to protect them in real time, so send fraud alerts, make sure people's accounts are protected, not force everyone to have a ledger and do all this crazy stuff. It needs to integrate seamlessly, but of course, it needs to stay decentralized. So we've been looking at agents for helping with this since 2023. And the basic hypothesis at the time was text to transaction was going to help us do this. It was going to help us enable people's grandparents or friends to start working with DeFi in a way that wasn't asking them to do more or learn something, just use a product. And obviously it's not easy, but we've been building this now for over a year. We have taken the approach that many folks have, which is a terminal with many agents and a registry where people can go and start a conversation. In this, well, the video might not work, but in this video, oh, here we go. We have a user who goes in, has a conversation with the CoinGecko agent to get ideas on trades and potential investments. They pull up some charts, they get excited about virtual, and then they just say, you know what, I want some virtual in my account. So they enable a swap, and the agent performs and builds the transaction, asking them to sign from their wallet, and then it's done. They didn't need to learn about where they should go buy virtual. They didn't need to have 3 dApps or sites open at once. It was all in the chat. And there's a couple of other agents at work here. There's a DAO agent that lets you ask, what are all the DAOs I'm a part of, proposals I want to vote on, and so forth. There's a an agent that lets you launch a safe on BNB. Like there's a lot of cool stuff. But we also realized that this is probably not the answer. This is for people already doing the stuff. And if we truly wanted to make an execution layer as seamless as possible, we needed to provide tooling where it already was. So am I going to be able to click next here? No. All right, we'll let it run out. But you can see these agents at work. But the premise that we came to was, if we want agents to actually be onboarding users to enable them to forget about DeFi, we have to go to where they're currently onboarding. We know today people are using Uniswap and products like that and telling people about their earnings. But they're not realistically able to hear about Uniswap if you're a new user and start trading. It requires a whole bunch of things. So while we started with this registry approach, we actually realized we needed to embed this into every dApp that exists today and superpower and charge them to basically onboard into any app without knowing crypto at all. And our approach to that is embeddable chats. So any dApp today can embed agent chats directly into their product and choose from hundreds of different tools to create a micro assistant that's perfectly designed for the use case of the dApp. My personal most exciting use case is DEXs, where people will be able to, one, onboard to the DEX easily, figure out how to connect wallets and accounts, learn what's available on the DEX, bring in research tools, and then have their accounts and trades passively managed for them. And we do have all of this public today if you want to embed the chat. We had our first embedded chat a few weeks ago. Shout out to a growth mate in the Near network, yeah. And we have our first DEX embedded chat coming in the next few days, hopefully, fingers crossed. But I guess I'll leave you with this. In order for us to bring the next 100 million people into crypto, we can't ask them to learn things they don't want to learn or claim that there's better UX and education needed, as has gone on at this conference now for the 7 years that I've been a part of it. We need to automate away as much as traditional finance does while preserving decentralization and autonomy for those who need it. So if you want to build with us, we're not doing this alone. We have lots of model partners. We have lots of data partners. We're partnering with more folks every day. And if you want to embed agents into your dApp to outcompete those who aren't going to embed agents into their products, let us know and let's help you out. Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gents, we're actually a little bit ahead of schedule for the first time in history ever. So if you do want to go and drink the high fructose corn syrup or the coffee or, you know, whatever food we've got, please do go ahead and indulge. There's still a few sweatshirts left. There's cups, etc., pins, but I would advise you not to go anywhere because I'm about to introduce one of my most favorite developers in the entire Near ecosystem. His name is Josh. He's going to do some wonderful demonstrations for you. So Josh, please come up on stage. Everybody give him a big round of applause for Josh Ford.
Thank you, David. You're so kind. One of my favorite MCs in the world. Let's see. I need to hook up my laptop. I'm gonna do this HDMI in here. We'll do. And here. All right. Let's see. My entire screen. I'm gonna start mirroring. Let's see. Is it doing it? This is always the problem. I have a history of being cursed with dongles and HDMI cables. Yes, yeah.
This is your shirt's on mirror?
Yes, it is unmirrored. I just selected mirror. Yeah. Unplug, plug it back in again. right, different dongle every time, I swear. Shout out Noah and Laura, my brother and my wife. They're watching right now. We sweat because they think it's funny. Oh, yay. All right. Now we're cooking. All right. Cool. So yeah, hey, my name is Josh. I am working with ETHDenver. We do developer relations and a whole bunch of other things for the Near ecosystem. Today, I'm going to be talking about optimizing your Near AI agents using something called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. And you may say, well, why? Why do I need to use this RAG? And it kind of helps a lot of the LLM shortcomings. Part of that is preventing hallucinations. These AIs aren't really giving you the right information all the time, and it's going to help prevent that from happening. It's also going to solve short context windows. There's only so many tokens or chunks of data that you can give an LLM or a model during a prompt, and you may have a larger amount of data that you want it to parse through to feed it to this model. But what I'm really keen on is it's a key component for user privacy. And that's kind of Near's theme is, user-owned internet, user-owned AI, and all those core values that we try to really move towards. It's a great article by Pinecone. They're a vector store solution, but it talks about, why RAG must be a part of your data privacy plan. And some cool, tidbits out of there is it really enables control of your data. You control the data that's provided to the LLM at generation. And the data does not need to be stored in these models. You can have it separate. You don't have to feed it and train it and trust that all these things are gonna, hold your data securely. And it's shared as a per request basis. You don't have to, again, have it on there all the time, and then it allows for quick removal from the system. So like earlier, we were talking about TEEs and trusted execution environments, the ability to give it some information, run something on it, prove that it wasn't exposed at all in any way, and then shut it down and wipe it out. It's, just totally awesome, and puts me at ease using some of these AI systems. So how it works is kind of like an overview. You basically have, you as a user or an AI agent even could submit a query. You have this retriever system that's in place. There's a whole bunch of different types of ways that you can do this, but it's kind of a simplification of it. You have a retriever and a vector store that stores all this data. It finds the most relevant content, and then it brings it back up to the retriever, gives the query plus the original query plus the context, this data that it found, to the LLM that then will give you back the information to the end user. So let's do a demo. Recorded a demo. We will show how to quickly make an AI agent on Near AI. Simply run Near AI agent create. It'll walk you through this prompted tutorial. You just enter an agent name. You enter the description of your agent and then the initial prompt. So however you want to have it initially set up, and later we can modify that information later. It says, hey, is this what you want to do? Proceed. And then it gives you a bunch of options. It shows you where your code was stored and then some useful commands about how to run it locally, upload it to the agent hub, or run this agent from your local registry. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this little nugget, and we are going to copy pasta in our terminal, and then we're going to ask it a question. So what types of access keys does Near protocol have, which is a really cool feature about Near. And it gives us this answer, which is kind of interesting. Full access keys, yep, function access keys, but this thing, it's not a thing. View function access keys, it hallucinated. It doesn't, that's not a thing. We don't have to sign for transactions. View calls are free. So it said, oh, we have these keys. And we're like, all right, that's kind of interesting. Let's ask it another question. How many keys can an account actually have? And it thinks about it, and it also hallucinates again. It gives you 128, which is also not correct at all. It thinks it only can have 128 keys. It's a lot of keys, but it's actually not the answer. So we'll go back to it and say, are you sure? Like, again, what are the types of keys that you can have on Near? And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. There's these other things as well. There's like a function called permission access key and a method called permission access key, which again, do not exist at all. It's just making it up. And I think it's like deriving it from this permission access key thing that it thinks it's about. And then I start messing with it. I'm like, are you sure that those are all the keys? Are you sure there's not more types? And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot there's actually all of these types. You have these storage access keys for reading storage and standalone and method call. And yeah, so it just keeps going and going, and it's hallucinating. It doesn't really understand. And to its credit, it's trying to figure it out. It says it apologizes for its responses. I tell it it's okay. Yeah, you're fine. But yeah, so it's trying to figure out what exactly is, the information is based on what it knows from this open source model. So what we can do is we'll exit out of there, and we're going to run into, we're going to open up an IDE, and we're going to check out the code for this agent. And all agents are real simple. I just opened up my registry. I have my different accounts in there. I'll go under my Near AI dev.near account, and I'll open up this agent that I just created. It's 2 files. You have your agent Python file, metadata.json file. And this is basically how you configure your agent. You can see it's the llama instruct is our model, and then max tokens. It's kind of important. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, this is the code for your agent. Super, super simple, and it just did our initial prompt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to docs.near.ai. I'm going to check out a new tutorial that we just pushed out, which is documentation reg. And in there, it'll take you step-by-step for all this stuff. I'm going through it quite quick because I have limited time. But yeah, what we need to do is we need to give context to this model. We need to tell it, hey, this is information. So this is 2 documents from official docs.near.org about the protocol. And we're just gonna give you some commands so you can download that easily to your local agent and give it some context. So we're gonna grab these markdown files. I'm just gonna change directory real quick. Go into near AI.dev.near, my username and my agent and the version number. Just gonna download these 2 files real quick. And you can see I have now these markdown files that are both access keys and CLI commands. The CLI is also part of the tutorial that we're not going through this update or this demonstration. But yeah, the other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna update our agent with our code. Is to load those files. You can see in the very top. Here's 2 files. Take a look at those, and what we're going to do is use those files to with our query from the user, and then use that to answer the question. And oftentimes I forget what agent I named it. So if you just run agent in Near AI Agent Interactive, gives you a list of all the ones that you've created. I'm going to create number 3, and then I'm going to ask it the question again. How many access keys are there in Near? Take a second to respond, and it did it correctly this time. Now it's got actual data to do it. There's 2 types. There's full access and function call. It's cool that there are a lot of uses that you can do with function call. You can really scope them down to a whole bunch of different things, and I think that's what the model is trying to figure out. It's actually with this function call, you can create different types of keys, but ultimately there's only 2. So yeah, we went over basic full and function. We'll say, hey, how many keys can an account have? And I believe it'll spit out. You can have multiple, but there are 2 main types. So it's still not hallucinating on us. It's still telling us, yes, these are the right ones. It's just these 2. And then okay, well, what's the limit for the number of keys that I can actually add to an account, and see if it'll throw me something off like the other one did. And yeah, it tells us, there's actually no limit. Theoretically, there's no limit. You might run into, I don't know, trying to do 1 million keys on an account. I don't know. I haven't really tested it, but theoretically, you could do almost near infinite amount of accounts. So yeah, basically, that's kind of a simple way of how RAG works. But if I go back to my demo slide, we skipped one part, and that's this vector store. Basically what we did is we just took these markdown files and gave it to the LLM and gave it with the prompt. That doesn't scale. There's a big problem with that. And you can only have X amount of data that you can feed the model when you're asking it a question. So what we have to do is use something called a vector store. The vector store, what it does is it takes your raw documents, it chunks them up, it embeds them in these vector points, and they all become these numbers, and then we store them in a vector database. So the chunking is basically just going through your document. It's grabbing these sections and doing a little bit of overlap, so that way there's a little bit of context with it, and you can adjust all these settings within your program. And then it plots it out. And it's like, all right, we have all these array points. Here are all the data, here are all the markdown files or whatever files that you're pointing out. And then it's like, all right, here's the question. How can I create an account? And how, what's closest to that answer? And then it grabs about a few of them and then it returns it back to that individual. So yeah, basically, let's go through real quick on how that part works. Basically, all we're gonna do is go back to our tutorial. We're gonna go to vector stores, scroll down a little bit. Again, goes through all this a little bit more in depth if you want to learn more. And we're gonna grab the entire docs data set from near.org. So grab the entire directory now, which we couldn't have done before because it would have ran out of, it would have received a max token limit and would have errored out. Don't need agent.py, or I'm sorry, we don't need our 2 docs anymore, because now what we're going to do is upload it into a vector file. Also, we have the vector file code for you, so we'll just create a new file, vector.py, add these, add this little boilercode code, and yeah, basically what we're doing here is we're just running this vector store. It'll start grabbing each one of these files that are in this data set. It's about like 100 or so, maybe more. And it's chunking and automatically embedding them for you. You can do you can also customize this however you'd like. We'll show you that in the tutorial if you go to docs.near.ai. But yeah, basically what it's using is like an OpenAI compatible client. It's not actually OpenAI, it's just the client that we use. It's actually uploading it to the Near AI platform. And yeah, it's just looking through these entire markdown files and it's grabbing all the information that we have there. And then in each file, taking it and uploading it, and then we're storing it in these chunks. And then now we're gonna have this ID. And that's really key, is that now you have this vector store ID that you can now use with your query when you're trying to get your information from. So we'll grab that little ID. We're gonna go to our RAG agent. And yeah, we just shipped this earlier today. We're actually embedding our agents now in documentation, and this is an example of a live implementation of it. Want to get some docs out on how you can embed your own agent in there as well. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and update our agent.py file to now use this vector store. And we're gonna copy pasta this snippet code in here. We're gonna go through and just update the vector store ID. So we'll grab that ID that it gave us earlier, and then we'll just copy and paste it over our own vector store ID. But this part is pretty easy. It's just like, here's your query, and then you have your vector results. You just go and you query the vector store, and then you can see here we have 6. So like, give me 6 chunks that are as close as possible to the answer. Now we'll take that, send it over to the model, and it will answer the question, hopefully in the best way possible. Yep, and it just returns an answer. So it's all pretty simple, Python script. It's not really too crazy. I think anyone, honestly, could probably figure it out, even if you're not a developer. I'd be happy to talk to anyone that's not a dev that wants to try this out after. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and now run our agent. And now we can ask it more stuff. We can say, hey, what languages does Near support for smart contracts? And now it knows more information. It knows that, hey, there's actually Rust and JavaScript that are 2 main smart contract SDKs. We're actually working on a Python one right now. It compiles it to WebAssembly, it knows some more information on that. And it's actually giving us some boilerplate code to get started building smart contracts on our platform. And then it gives some links to the SDK documentation below. So yeah, that's kind of like a speed run, obviously, through how to use RAG, how to implement it, how to build these agents. And yeah, as you can see, we use that vector store, we got the content, and we're following this diagram. And I guess, I have just a couple minutes left, and what I would say is, Near, in a sense, we're kind of moving from people are like, oh, what are you guys working on? What are you focusing on? At the end of the day, we're just trying to build a better internet and build one that is user-owned. And basically, the internet belongs to you. It belongs to the people that actually use the internet, not to a couple of corporations. You should be in control of your data. You should be in control of your assets. You should be in control of your identity. No one should own that but you. And you should be in control of your choices. It's one thing that, I think the internet was awesome and it kind of veered off course, and I feel we really need to make a course direction back into this realm. So yeah, and that's kind of why I'm here and continue to contribute to this platform. So anyway, let's build a better web together. Come join, come talk to us, try it out for yourself. Scan this, takes you to docs.near.ai. Come talk to me after this talk. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much.
Josh, thank you so much. As always, okay, ladies and gents, believe it or not, we finished ahead of time, right? For like the first time in the history of ever. But the food will be open until 4 o'clock. So if you want to go and fill your belly, feel free. There's coffee, there's lemonade, etc. A couple of important tidbits. If you are expected to come back tomorrow for the Near AI Agent Games, which is going to be super fun and super exciting, that doesn't mean you can leave any of your gear behind. There's a separate event on tonight, so take your laptops, take your phones, make sure you don't miss any of your Tinder messages, etc., etc. And there's one other thing I needed to mention. What was it? A survey. That's right. So you're going to get an email. It's going to say, "Hey, how beautiful." How much weight do you think that the MC lost in compared to redacted to here? You need to answer that question with about 40 pounds. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, well, it's all the power of Ozempic. Seriously, be honest with us. Give us your real, genuine feedback. It's going to help us improve for the next time. And if you're going to be here for Near AI Agents tomorrow, I will see you then. Until next time, God bless. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Sleep tonight.